Hey, it's Jeff with Barbecue Plus. If you like to do pulled pork sandwiches, sliders, like I do, well, what's the best way to do it? Should I fire up the offset in the logs or the ease of the pellet grill? Well, I put them on a head-to-head test and watch what I found out. Hey, it's Jeff with Barbecue Plus, and it is a cool December day, a few days before Christmas. We're going to do some pork butt today, some pulled pork. So I've got a couple of pork shoulders. This came from Costco. It's in a 2-pack. These were, was that $37 for the both of them? It was $8 off, so I couldn't resist grabbing those. And now we're going to season these up and put them on. These don't have bones in them. Those have been taken out. That's why this bad boy is kind of filleted open like that. But I think that'll be okay because we'll be able to tuck a lot of great rub in there. Just want to pat these dry. Bone in. I kind of like bone in most of the time, but this will turn out just fine. Now we're going to put my own special rub on here. This is one that I've been using for quite a few years. So I just mixed up a batch of it. I'll make sure that down below in the comments, we tell you exactly how we put this together. It's got some various spices, obviously salt, pepper, paprika. We're just gonna give a good generous coating of this. Nothing super fancy. Just make sure we get a good coating all the way around the sides, inside that kind of flap there that we had. This is probably a good time to tell you what you can give me for Christmas. I don't need any more barbecue stuff. What I'd like to have is some more likes, some more shares, and some more subscribers to my YouTube channel. Now, that's something that doesn't cost you anything. It helps YouTube know that I'm putting out great content that people want to see, and they will reward me with promoting it to more people. So, hey, everybody wins in that deal. So these guys are ready to go. What we're going to do is a shootout. So over on this side, I have got my Oklahoma Joe offset, and we're running about 350 degrees on there. You can see we're pouring lots of smoke out. Over here, I've got my Yoder 640 pellet grill. I'm going to put one of these in each one. We're going to try to maintain the temperatures as close as possible. What that means is that as this offset, which is a little more difficult to control, as the temperatures fluctuate there, I'm going to keep an eye on it and adjust this one to match exactly what we're doing over here. We're going to take this first one and put it on the offset here. Just putting that right in the middle there. And now this guy, I've got some Chex mix that is going on here. If you didn't see my video on spicing up some Chex mix, check it out. I had a friend of mine that said, hey, I really like that Chex mix that you made. I wish you'd make some for me. So Mike, that's for you, buddy. So those are on, they're doing what they need to, and we're just going to check in a little bit, keep an eye on it. So right here is my wireless Inkbird thermometer. This is a Wi-Fi model, so it'll connect up to my Wi-Fi network in the house. I've got the app that runs on my phone. This is one of my gift guide items that I suggest that people pick up for Christmas, for that special somebody that loves to barbecue. And what I'm going to do is just plug a couple of probes in here into two of the ports, and then we're going to plug it into a couple of different places on the meat there, so that way we can see what our pit is running and also what the ambient temperature is inside. So I've got one into there. The other one I'm just going to lay in the back there at grill height. The Yoder tells us what the temperature is inside the grill. So that one just goes inside the meat. We already do have a temperature. that's running all the time and letting us know exactly what the temperature is inside of our grill itself. And now we're just going to let them go. We'll check back and let them just chill out on a little bit of a cool Saturday afternoon. Time for a little check-in. This is the one that is on the pellet smoker. Currently running right at 318, internal temperature 125. Over here on the offset, we're running 245 in the pit and 123 internal temperature. Now this one is on a real wood fire, so you can see where we're getting a lot more kind of dirty smoke on there. Hopefully that doesn't affect the taste too bad. You can see our fire roaring down there. I just did throw a couple logs in, so it's coming up to temp. And then figure, hey, as long as we got a fire going underneath there, might as well render out some tallow that I had. So kind of doing double duty on this today. All right, we have reached our temperatures. We're showing here at 225 for what our pit is running on the offset, and we're 162 for internal temperature on the pork shoulder over here. Internal temperature over here is 164, so we're within 2 degrees, which I think is great. Generally, what you're going to find is that meat doesn't take any more smoke after you've hit about 160 degrees. So might as well at this time wrap them up. We're going to put them in this tray, and I've got a couple little racks in here, and that'll keep them out of the bottom. And we're going to put in some liquid. So we're going to use some apple juice. And I just use these little guys right here. I buy like a half a dozen of them at a time. What are these, 8 ounces? So we're gonna use 3 of these guys. So that's 24 ounces. You can use a big jug. I generally find I don't need that, so I like using the little ones. And then I've got a can of crushed pineapple that we're gonna put in here also. This adds some kind of nice sweetness to it. And also we end up with the juice from that pineapple in here as well. So we're just dropping that right in here. We're gonna foil it after we bring them out. Set that one here. Now this is the one that was on the pellet grill. So you're gonna see that this is quite a bit lighter in color. Now this guy over here, quite a bit darker. And that we had juice just squirting right out of there. So we're getting some good render on the fat, but this one, since it had a lot of the smoke on it coming directly from the fire, that's going to get a lot darker. But what we're going to do in the end is we're going to put these together anyway and just kind of mix them all around after we taste the difference in them. Just a big chunk of aluminum foil. I'm going to go on 3 sides here. I'm going to put it inside the yoder over here, and I'm leaving that last end open because I'm going to put 2 probes in it so we can check the temperatures on the inside of both as they climb up to that target, which is about 203 degrees. And now we're just going to spin this around and load it up. Aluminum foil is nice and tight on there. We crank that up to about 330 degrees because the goal at this point is to get that all the way up to our temperature. We want to see about 205 degrees, 204, kind of a probe tender on that. So we're just going to finish them off in the pellet grill because it's a little bit easier than maintaining temperature over here in the offset. We're going to take a quick little peek there. Yep, that is hot. Quick check here. We've got the temperature set for 354 degrees. We are currently running at 202 in one of the pork butts, and the other one is at 198. So we're getting really close here. I'd like to see about 203, 204 on those. All All right, it's about time to go to bed, and we aren't where we want to be yet. So I've got the smoker set at 345 degrees, but we've seen temperatures drop as low as 290 and then spike all the way up to almost 400 degrees. So a little frustrated that this isn't holding the temperatures as I'd really want. We even saw the meat temperature where we were on our probes hitting right at 200 degrees. Well, it dropped down about 4 or 5 degrees while the pit dropped down also, but then spiked back up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to want this to maintain at least 150 degrees overnight. And to do that, I'm going to turn my pit down to about 165 and then monitor the internal temperature of the meat. I'm also going to set an alarm on it, so if it does drop below 150 degrees, it's going to notify me. Now I want to make sure that I don't run too low on any kind of liquid in there, because I don't want any of the rendered fat or any of the pineapple that's down in the bottom there to end up getting burnt into the bottom of the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some additional apple juice. I've got 3 more 8-ounce bottles of apple juice, so another 24 ounces if high school math does me right. And we're going to put that in there, button it up as tight as we can with the aluminum foil, so that way it'll hold over in a great moist environment overnight. And then at that point we'll be able to pull it out, let it cool down a little bit, grab the big black gloves, and then pull it tomorrow morning. All right, so it is Sunday morning, and I got my coffee in hand. And we are ready to pull this off. So what I did was I filled the hopper full of pellets last night and then just let that bad boy run. I'm trying out a feature of the Yoder app where you can make a set point. So I said I wanted this to go up to 204 degrees, and then after that I wanted it to drop down to 150 degrees. So I set that up and it ran, it got up to its 204 degrees, and then early in the morning it dropped back down to the 150 degrees for the pit, so it was kind of a keep warm at that point. I'm going to play with that feature a little bit more. I think it worked well, but was a little bit nervous doing it the first time overnight. I'd probably play around a little bit more during the daytime when I can actually monitor it and get comfortable with it. I think that worked out great because it allowed us to hit that set point. I didn't have to wait and then decide what to do with it at that point, and I was sleeping like a baby while this thing mellowed out. My temperature never went below 170 degrees. So this morning when I woke up, came out here, turned it off, and there's so much steel in this Yoder because it's so thick and heavy that it's still just maintaining the temperature. We're going to pull that pan out. We're going to set it down here. I've got some towels from the garage that we're just going to put on top of it. Let's get a little peek at this. Looks pretty good. Definitely more of a bark on this one that was here in the offset. I think we just ended up with a lot of smoke coming through there. This is the pellet grill one. It's a little bit lighter, but we've got just a ton of juice in here also. I'm going to take these towels and just kind of lay them on top so I can keep heat in. There we go. We're going to check back on this in probably a half hour to 45 minutes. All right, it is time to go in and give this a taste. I'm going to put my insulated gloves on before I put these guys on, especially because they're probably still looking at about 150 degrees or so. These cotton gloves are great. You can get them dirty. You can throw them into the washing machine. Picked them up at Harbor Freight. Don't cost very much at all. So now the moment of truth. We're going to take all these towels off, unveil this fella, or these guys, we'll call them the twins, and we're just going to kind of dig in here a little bit. So very similar pieces. approximately the same place on each one of these 2 pork butts, and I'm going to try these and see what the taste is like. Is there any difference between running it on a pellet grill or running on the offset? That's good taste. I can definitely taste some smoke on here. I'm expecting a lot more smoke on this one. Moderately more, I would probably say. Yeah, on the initial, I don't taste much difference between them. Maybe a little bit smokier here, but as far as a little bit of an aftertaste, after it's been in my mouth for a few minutes, definitely on this one, we've got more smoke taste to it, which makes sense because this was cooked with splits of wood and with charcoal, and we just had a lot more smoke visually running through there, which interpreted into getting it into the meat also. Is this one bad? No, not at all. I think it's great. I think it really turned out well. Look at that. We got some good smoke all the way through, and this is the one from the pellet grill. Yeah, that is really good. Okay, we're just gonna commence to pulling all of this. I'm gonna take the big pieces of fat off and set those aside. We're gonna leave a little bit in there because, hey, that's where a lot of the good taste comes from. I would say that's a success. So we're gonna save all that juice. But man, look at it. That is just a lot of great pulled pork in there. We're just going to thoroughly mix this so that way we have a good representation of both the offset and the pellet grill as we serve this, and I think it'll meld out together. I really, again, didn't see a whole lot of difference between these. In my estimation, that pellet grill is so much easier to be able to maintain your fire. I think if I have the time, if I'm going to be at home doing yard work, I would probably lean towards using an offset. It's just kind of fun to feel manly and stoke up a fire and deal with flames and everything. But as far as the ease of making this happen, boy, that pellet grill really worked out well. And being able to adjust the temperatures overnight was absolutely huge too. I slept like a baby, woke up in the middle of the night just to kind of check on it. Everything was looking really good. I definitely like doing the overnight cooks, and having that remote app and even being able to program it, I think is a huge benefit. Thanks for watching. Again, a great Christmas gift, even though it might be belated, would be hit that subscribe button, give it a like, throw me some comments on there and share this with a friend. But the most important thing you can do is go out in your backyard and cook something great this weekend. And from Barbecue Plus, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.